Guys, I find this kind of geeky stuff really quite interesting. If you don't like geeky stuff like me, like turning circle radiuses and the technology companies are using now to completely change cars. In other words, making a really big car drive like a really small car, then, tune out. But if you do, stick with me. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Guys, I think this is the smallest turning radius of any large vehicle in the world. I can't find anything with a smaller turning radius. I've done a Google searching for several hours. If you can, I absolutely would love to know what it is because I don't know of it. And as you guys know, I'm obsessed with cars. I do think I know probably more models of car than 99.9% of the other human beings on this planet. Not that that's really saying anything. But anyhow, the point is here, guys, this technology is quite remarkable. And I've initially thought, the only way to achieve this feat, to make a really big car drive like a really small car, which none of them really do. You got these supercar manufacturers saying they have rear wheel steering and stuff like that. It shortens the turning circle a little bit, but it's not a huge difference. I really thought the only way to do this was to do what Tesla did with the Cybertruck by actually having drive-by-wire steering. And the Cybertruck's the only vehicle in the world with that technology. Other manufacturers have been trying to get that to work for a long time. They have not succeeded. Toyota, by the way, has been working on that for decades. They haven't succeeded with all their thousands of engineers that say they're the best in the world. But anyhow, that's another point. But apparently you don't. BYD's found a different way to do it. Earlier this year, BYD unveiled the unfortunately named Yangwang. Now, has anyone told BYD that Wang means male appendage in slang in almost every Western country in the world? Anyway, the Yangwang U7 sedan. This is a big car. It's bigger than a Tesla Model S, a fair bit bigger, in fact. And you can buy one of these vehicles. They're actually quite impressive. They look, honestly, I'm not a massive fan of the styling of the front, but in general, the rest of the car I think looks fantastic. For a big vehicle, it doesn't look huge. That's one of the key things I like about it. But it is a very expensive vehicle, right? This thing costs, you could buy about 30 BYD Seagulls for the same price. Speaking of the BYD Seagull, it's very small. It's 3.8 meters long. It's very short. The Yangwang is, it just makes me laugh, sorry guys, I know it's childish. It's about nearly 5.3 meters long. So the difference in length here, it's not double, but I mean, look at these cars. It's an enormous difference in size between these two cars. Now, I have heard that, sizes and everything, but that's another story. Now guys, getting back to this, BYD, they have, as you can see, a 10-meter wide test ground, and they've proven that actually the Yangwang has a turning radius that's less than the Seagull's turning radius. It's 4.85 meters. Now, I've owned cars with a turning radius above 10 meters. So that's insane. Now, the Seagull's turning radius is 4.95, and the Yangwang U7's is 4.85. So how do they do this? Well, apparently it has two-way 20-degree intelligent rear wheel steering. A lot of manufacturers have that, but it combines that with an so-called easy four-wheel agile steering function. So honestly, I don't fully understand how the technology works, and I'm keen to find out from BYD. As soon as I do, I'll have a new video on the actual, how they're actually achieving this. But at this point in time, this is clearly the only technology that I know of, other than Tesla's with the Cybertruck, that can make a massive, massive difference to the turning circle of a very large vehicle and make it drive, say in a city to the point where you're not going to be concerned you can't get into a parking space. That's a big issue with pickup trucks. You can't get into some parking spaces. It's just, you can't do it. So how much is this vehicle? Well, yeah, it's even more expensive than the Cybertruck. I'm not joking. It's a sedan. I think the cheapest version is $138,000 US. For that money, though, you do get some pretty nice luxury. It has 326 horsepower coming from each motor. And because it has a total of 4 motors, 4 motors, one for every wheel, that means it has 1,306 horsepower. It's one of the most powerful cars in the world. So I guess that price doesn't sound so bad after you realize that. In addition to that, it has a 135.5 kilowatt hour blade battery and the range 800 kilometers. Now, I think it might have actually BYD's new version 2 blade battery because By the sounds of this vehicle, it's very big, it's very heavy, and so how they're getting 800 kilometers of range from a battery pack that size in a car that big, it doesn't make sense. So in my opinion, it's very likely that they do have the new Blade battery version 2 with much higher energy density. BYD says the Yangwang is the world's lowest drag coefficient production car in the world, with a CD of 0.195 at 120 kilometers an hour, but that's a little bit higher than the new Xpeng Mona MO3. Now, to be honest, the Xpeng Mona, goodness me, that thing looks terrible. Xpeng's cars look brilliant. I love them. The Mona, though, well, yeah, not so much. Now, when it comes to aerodynamics from cars in China, everyone's claiming they have the lowest drag coefficient for their cars, so they can't all be winning. So I don't know what's going on there, guys. I don't know whether or not to believe those stories. Anyhow, through a combination, says Car News China, of sheer power and slipperiness, acceleration is 2.9 seconds. Top speed is 270 kilometers an hour. Now, that acceleration probably sounds kind of slow, 2.9 seconds for an EV with 1,306 horsepower, probably because this thing's massive, maybe. Anyhow, it has carbon ceramic brakes. So you could, I guess, use this thing on a racetrack. It would be kind of cool, actually, I reckon. It can stop very quickly. From 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour, it can stop in 33 meters. That's actually very good stopping. So now you can kind of make sense of why it's so expensive. Carbon ceramic brakes, 4 motors, massive amount of power, a huge battery pack. This thing's actually pretty damn cool. Now, one other feature it has, which kind of does justify the price, is the new BYD Dices Z suspension system. It has kind of 5 different technologies that they utilize. One of those is similar technology to what Mercedes-Benz have in the S-Class. When you go around a corner, the suspension actually kind of tilts the car into the corner. So basically what that means is you're going around a corner and you're probably being driven by your chauffeur, your driver is driving you, and it doesn't really feel like you went around a corner. It kind of counteracts the G-forces to make it feel like it's just a straight road. Now, it doesn't work, quite to that degree, but it does definitely work. So yeah, that would be kind of a nice feature as well. In addition to that, this car, or this BYD Super Saloon, has what's called 10 Shen, which is Eye of the Gods intelligent driving. It has 508 tops of computing power, which is incredibly fast, and it has a suite of different cameras and lidars. It's got apparently 3 lidar units, 5mm wavelength radars, and 13 cameras, high definition cameras, by the way. Yeah, this thing's unreal. And the technology BYD is developing is probably world leading. When it comes to full self-driving, not so much, but in every other way, absolutely mind-blowing. Thanks for watching.